Do we turn the microphone? All the mics on?
Good evening. This meeting of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Present.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Present.
Freeholder Johnson. Absent. Freeholder Jones.
Present.
Freeholder Luciano. Absent. Freeholder Richardson. Absent. Freeholder Sebo.
Here.
Freeholder Toro.
Present.
We stand for our salute to the flag. I'm going to ask that Freeholder Sebo please lead us in this salute.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Chair, there are
You
two.
can call me madam, that's okay.
No, no. I have to disobey that request.
For,
Mr. Chair, we have two transcripts, board meeting September the 30th, 2015, and October the 14th, 2015.
Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second to approve the transcripts?
Move it.
Freehold, moved by Freeholder Toro, seconded by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Mr. Chair, we have Director Deborah Collins, who will make a presentation of the third quarterly report of the Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cielo, will you please introduce Ms. Collins to make her report?
Absolutely. This evening, Ms. Collins will be providing for the entire board her third quarterly report. Earlier today, the administration did meet with the Affirmative Action Committee and presented the report to that committee, and it is my pleasure now to introduce Ms. Deborah Collins to provide the report for the entire board.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President, members of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders. For the record, I'm Deborah Collins, Director of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action for the County of Essex. You should have before you a copy of our third quarterly report for the year 2015, covering the period July 1st, 2015 through September 28th, 2015. As you are all aware, we every quarter provide to you a summary of the purchase orders or contracts for goods and services that small woman-owned and minority businesses have provided to the county during the applicable period. We monitor our progress from quarter to quarter to examine spending trends and determine where we may best dedicate our resources to ensure that the vendors in our target population have a full and fair opportunity to compete for county contracts. Second, we provide you with an overview of our outreach efforts, which include seminars, workshops, training programs, and collaborative events with our partners. While our focus is primarily on established businesses that are ready, willing, and able to provide goods and services to the county, we often give guidance to startups on growing and sustaining profitable business. And last but not least, we chronicle our efforts to level the playing field for small women-owned, minority, veteran-owned, lesbian, gay, and bisexual, and transgender businesses. Thus, in sum and substance, the report is as follows. Our overall monetary achievements are set forth below on page 2, if you are following, in the second paragraph. During the third quarter of this year, the county spent $20,652,111 in private contract or purchase orders. Small women-owned and minority business enterprises received $11,795,178, or 57% of the total spend. The breakdown by business classification indicates the following. Small business enterprises, or SBEs, received $6,724,275, or 33%. Minority business enterprises, MBEs, received $2,273,210, or 11%. And minority-owned businesses, WBEs, received $2,797,693, or 14% of the total percentage awarded to our target population. The largest contract this quarter was in the amount of $1,485,622, and it was awarded to Zenith Construction. Zenith is a vendor that is classified as both an MBE and an SBE because they have been certified in both categories. The purpose of the contract is to provide improvements for the Glenfield Playground and Children's Garden. CETA Construction Incorporated, an MWSBE, received a contract in the amount of $675,450 to provide lighting improvements at Branchbrook Park for the Department of Public Works. And last but not least, a contract in the amount of $1,017,409 was awarded to T. Faris and Sons, an SBE, for the collection of garbage for the Department of Public Works. If you direct your attention to Appendix A, you will see a listing of third quarter contract awards for the period July 1st, 2015 through September 28th, 2015. The average contract dollar amount below the bid threshold of $17,500 was $9,555. At Appendix B, you will find approved contracts between $5,400 and $17,500 for the period July 1st, 2015 through September 28th, 2015. You will note that this quarter there were no federally funded projects, hence we do not have subcontracting goals, nor do we have aspirational targets thereon. At page 3, we list for you additional accomplishments. We're very proud of the fact that we collaborated with Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses at LaGuardia Community College to present the workshop on strategies to accelerate revenue growth. The workshop took the form of an actual class designed for established businesses with at least 3 employees. These were the criteria for entry. This was the first time that Goldman Sachs had been offered, the Goldman Sachs program had been offered in the state of New Jersey. As a consequence of it, several business owners expressed an interest in registering for the next program cycle, and just yesterday, in fact, we met a woman-owned business entrepreneur who said to us that she fully intended to attend the next cycle, and she's very excited about it, as are we. It takes the businesses to the very next level. One of the goals of the Essex County Administration is to demystify the bidding process for our target population by creating an online tutorial. Hence, this quarter, third quarter that is, we engaged the consultant to review our procurement processes and provide us with feedback on guidance we may give business owners to help position them to compete successfully for contracts. In connection with this particular effort, we hosted a focus group with owners who have submitted successful proposals to governmental entities, including the County of Essex. And as a result of these exercises, we will begin work in early 2016 on the online tutorial. The July edition of our e-newsletter summarizes this goal, and you'll find a copy of it at Appendix D. Now, this quarter, we also embarked upon a marketing campaign to increase the potential turnout of contractors interested in attending the Turner Construction Management Program that was scheduled for launch on October 22nd, 2015. And I'm going to pause just for a moment to thank Freeholder Lebby Jones for attending the Turner Construction Management Program's graduation ceremony this evening. We're just returning from it, in fact, where we participated in awarding 45 certificates to the participants. It was quite an event, and we thank you for your support of it. As a consequence of our marketing effort, The campaign resulted in 87 viewers and who conducted a total of 102 sites visits. And again, as a consequence, the result was that enrollment was capped at 45 contractors, and we're proud to say that it remained steady throughout the course of the 8-week program. We continue to use metrics to quantify our outreach efforts. Toward this end, the vendor which publishes our e-newsletter provides us with a report on the delivery rate via the internet and the quote-unquote open rate. This data enables us to continually assess the content of the newsletter, the format, and other features that will attract a wider and more diverse audience. So if you turn to Appendix F, you will find Positive Publications Report to the Essex County Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action, quantifying for us the open rate of that particular e-newsletter. Throughout this quarter, we've seen a steady increase in the number of contractors registering to do business with the county. Last quarter, three business owners registered electronically through our website, which is www.ecbizcenter.com. And the website that we maintain, not only through the website, but also through registering with our office directly. So in total, there were 18 businesses, 9 of whom received registration forms at various events that we either hosted or attended. This now brings our total to 1,505 entries. In June of 2015, we began to cultivate a relationship with the New Jersey State Bar Association. As a consequence of a series of conference calls, we have in fact decided to partner with them on fostering, and I put in quotation marks, fostering diversity and inclusion within the leadership of the State Bar Association by helping attorneys with leadership potential develop skills through education, mentoring, and participation. Look for a workshop in March of 2016 or April as we present the very first ever continuing legal education seminar at the New Jersey State Bar Association. On September 17th of this year, we held an OSHA certificate recognition ceremony to mark the completion of the very first ever OSHA 10 outreach training program conducted in Spanish. And I'd like to pause at this time to recognize Freeholder Bobadilla and to thank him for sending to us the entire class. The entire class was made up of contractors who met with us and Freeholder Bobadilla in our Biz Center and later attended this program. We were very delighted that all of them passed the OSHA certification exam for the 10-hour program. Shortly thereafter, on September 25th, we launched a 30-hour OSHA outreach training program. The attendees included 9 apprentices in training who were also enrolled in an apprenticeship program at the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice. This program is part of a larger initiative created by Essex County Executive Joseph N. DiVincenzo Jr. to prepare recent graduates of the Essex County Vocational and Technical Schools for careers in the construction industry. In collaboration with the Essex County Votech and Jingoli & Sons, a general contractor, we crafted a request for proposals to source a consultant to monitor the construction of the new vocational technical school in Newark, New Jersey. The goal was to identify a small business owner with the skill set to assist us in sourcing minority and women-owned businesses to vie for opportunities in connection with this project. And I'm very pleased to say that Alabaster Construction Company was the winning submission, and they will be working with us going forward on the oversight of this particular project. In sum and substance, we continue to foster new partnerships with financiers and government lenders who support our target population. In fact, we've begun exploring the possibility of partnering with the United States Small Business Administration's Emerging Leaders Initiative and the state of New Jersey to present the program for veteran-owned businesses in early 2016. In the meantime, of course, we appreciate the ongoing support of the administration and the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders as we continue putting Essex County first. This concludes our report. We're happy to take any questions or comments you may have at this time. Thank you.
Gotcha. For the record, I'd like to acknowledge Freeholder Johnson. Thank you, Ms. Collins, for the thorough report, as always. At this time, I'd like to open it up for any questions from our board. Any questions or comments? Freeholder Toro.
I'm just happy to hear that you're creating new things like the online tutorial. I think that's an excellent resource for businesses who want to know how to do so exactly by watching it online. And also with the veteran-owned businesses, I think that's fabulous that, you know, we continue to find ways to help our veterans succeed. So thank you.
Thank you very much, and please forgive me, I actually did not acknowledge Jessica Valle. I want to thank her. We've had an incredibly long day today. Jessica Valle is our compliance coordinator. She's been with us all day long, meeting after meeting, and she's still here, so I just want to thank her for her efforts and the hard work she has put into ensuring that this is an effective and successful report. Thank you, Jessica.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yeah, you know, Ms. Collins, I just want to applaud really the efforts of you and your team. You know, small team, but yet you provide big results. Every time I call, and I just called recently to ask for the link for the certifications for the minority business enterprises, and you know, you always deliver, and I think we're grateful for that. And I, you know, you do a great job.
Thank you so much.
Freeholder Jones.
We met early on during the day, small businesses and affirmative action. And when Mrs. Collins was given the report in terms of the Turner Construction Company, it would sound very good, but at the same time, you have to see it. And those people who were there were participants, and they gave it all the praise from all of them who were receiving their certificate, things that they had no idea that you need to do in terms of running a business. And I'm going to ask, hopefully, the county exec and the board of chosen freeholder, if we could have many more types of seminars, because what happens in many of your urban areas, you have small businesses, their intentions are good, they're a craftsman, but the financial part of it and the managerial part of it, they are not equipped to handle that. So I'm going to say to you, you did an excellent job, and I'm quite sure it is a blessing for the community of 45 individuals who are small minority business in Essex County. So thank you so much.
Thank you for attending and supporting us.
Any other questions or comments? Freeholder Siebold.
No mention was made of the wonderful program I attended at McLuhan's. And I don't see it in the book, but there was a large crowd, an excellent panel discussion, and so many people were there and all very much interested in what you were doing. It was a wonderful success.
Thank you, Freeholder Siebold. The reason it isn't in this report is because it will be in the next report. We're delivering this report a bit late.
All right.
So you will certainly see it next quarter. And we thank you and for staying for the entire program. We appreciate your support. You're always there for us, and we are very grateful for your continuing support.
It was a wonderful program.
Thank you.
I actually have a question.
Freeholder Vice President, you want to recognize me for entering the room?
You are officially recognized. I'd like to ask a question, Madam
Yes,
President.
Freeholder Vice
if
President
the
Gill.
floor is still
And thank
open.
you.
No, my pleasure. Just the two quick questions. One focusing on the construction of the United Hospital site, and that's the one that I understand that we've hired a separate consultant to oversee that project. What are some of the steps that we're taking there? I mean, this is something, at least for me, that makes all the sense in the world, and I think it's great that we're doing that. You know, it'll probably be one of the largest projects that we'll have during, I think, our time on the board to be a part of, and I know that we're all very excited about. So just kind of wondering what are some of the specific things that the consultants are doing on that particular project to really kind of take that to the next level. And then Secondly, I'm curious about the focus groups that you mentioned. What did the focus groups tell you, about what some, in terms of that research, and how are we using that research to do greater outreach into the community for these projects?
Yes, thank you both. Very good questions. The first, and I'll say more about this next quarter as well, we have hired a minority-owned firm based right here in Newark called Alabaster to serve as the monitor on the project. It's always good to have someone monitor the goings-on to ensure not only that we that we present opportunities to minority and women-owned businesses to compete for subcontracts. That's one of the things that they're going to also monitor the certified payroll reports to ensure that the labor component is there. And I just want to say something about this monitor as well. The principals have been steeped in this field for quite some time. In fact, one of them actually worked with Turner Construction for many years. The other has worked with the Newark Housing Authority, and we'll say more about them. We can actually have them come forward if you'd like. But their work is of huge importance to us because they are going to attend contractor meetings. We will be hosting a session with the general contractors when this goes out to bid. The general contractors will have an opportunity to meet with the contractor who's the monitor. We have been gathering together information from our own database on all of the contractors in the field of construction who are registered to do business with us. Jingoli & Sons has a list, as Freeholder Johnson also knows. We've met with Freeholder Johnson and the Jingoli & Sons firm. They have their own list. We have a list. We're pulling together another list so that we're ready to present to them possible subcontractors for the project. It's a huge, huge undertaking, hence we're happy to have their services, and we'll tell you more about this as it goes forward. As to the focus group, we think we know what our business owners need, but what's most important to us is to understand whether or not the bid process is comprehensible and whether or not there's a way to streamline it so that it isn't so intimidating to the small business owner who takes a look at that packet of documents and says, I could never fill all of these documents out. So we pulled together 6 very well established, when I say established, I mean those who have won contracts not only at the county level, but at the state and federal level, who understand what it is to go through a bid package and to submit a winning bid on a project. We called them together and said, what do you think we should do in order to make this process clearer, to simplify it, and to encourage small business owners to bid? One of the reasons why we don't have as many contractors as we would like is because they are so intimidated by the process. It's a maze for them. So the focus group, and it was exceptional, exceptional. Jessica was there as well. The focus group was led by us, as well as a gentleman some of you may know, Richard Roper, who actually has been with who's been involved in government for a very long time, to sit with us and tell us, how should we do this? What should the tutorial look like? What should we add? What should we take out? Should there be a way for them to stop the film at some point, to digest what they've heard, go back and review it? Things that we would not have thought about because we're so close to the material. And based upon this feedback, it was a very enlightening gathering. Based upon their feedback, we will now, next year, put together an RFP with the county administrator's consent and blessing. We'll put together an RFP to bring in someone who understands how to put this together in an online fashion, because that's where everybody's bids are online now. Not only are the bids online, but people are getting their instruction in how to fill out or how to compete successfully for contracts by going to online sources. And we want to be state-of-the-art. We want to be state-of-the-art.
Okay.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Just one follow-up, and then so the other metrics that you discussed from in the online program. So now we have information regarding open rates, conversions on open rates. Is that new data that we have as a result of the metrics that you were discussing
Yes, we've
Okay.
never had that before,
Right.
and that's been a huge, and I want to thank Jessica again because she's much more internet savvy than we are. She will come and she'll say, do you want Google Analytics on this?
Yeah.
I'll say, well, why do I need them? She says, because you want to know
Yeah.
how many of our e-newsletters people are actually opening.
Right.
How many are getting to our population, whether or not we need to do something else to. We use a tool called MailChimp in order to reach our population. And the analytics really do help us. Why send out emails that nobody's opening?
Right.
And if they're not opening, why aren't they opening them? So that's the next step. Next year, we'll look at the population of individuals who are not opening the emails and figure out why,
Right.
and then go back to reinvigorate our website. And it's been very, very exciting. It's where we need to be, really, in order to continue to be ahead of the curve.
Great. That all sounds great. Congratulations,
Thank you.
on a job well done. I mean, I know it's been a long time in terms of process and a commitment from the administration, and I'm so happy to see that it's moving forward. I will just put one final, more of a comment, that also yesterday there was an announcement regarding the Gateway Tunnel project, which will probably look like be the largest public works projects, to happen over the next 5 to 10 years, and would flag that for your office to say, hopefully we can think about some creative ways also. I mean, to engage our minority-owned contractors and businesses, although it's not a county project, it's going to be components that I'm sure the same universe of contractors are going to care about, and I would hope that we do our best to see as many Essex County contracting firms and firms that your office deals with are part of that process as well.
Well, we're way ahead of you. We've already contacted my counterpart at the New York and New Jersey Port Authority, Lash
Great.
Green, so that we can, and we've been in touch with them, but now we want to make sure that they have access to our database as well.
Great.
So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Great.
Very good comments, Freeholder Vice President Gill. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay. Ms. Collins, it was a privilege to listen to your report earlier today. You all are doing a great job. I was pleased, along with Jessica, with seeing where it is that we're at and hearing the numbers and the percentages. And the Affirmative Action Committee looks forward. Freeholder Jones was there as well, to continuing progressing as we are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. First, before I move to public comment session, I'd just like to say thank you to Freeholder Vice President Gill for beginning the meeting. I was down in Orange accepting an award from HANDS, organization that's been around for around 30 years, building up communities and doing community development. So I accepted this for us all, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for that. Now let's move to public comment session on agenda items. So today's meeting is a combined conference board meeting. So we are going to be voting on every item on the agenda as well as thoroughly discussing it. So if there's any member of the public at this time that'd like to speak on agenda items only, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right. Okay, Madam Clerk, let the record reflect no one's wishing to speak on agenda items only. If there's any member of the public wishing to speak on any issue at all, please come forward, state your name and affiliation.
Good evening, freeholders and Madam President. My name is R.A. Cowboy. I'm associated with the Right Way Riding Stables and Right Way Riding Cookies and whatever. I got a lot of things going, but I came here tonight. I didn't want to be redundant on coming and speaking on a lot of things that I was talking about, but I had a little more understanding because I was watching the work that's going on over at Weekway Park and watching. I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm a master at one. I'm a master of my horses. But I was looking at things that I have been into, a lot of the businesses that contracting, construction, tree, everything. I've been into a lot of that coming up because I didn't know exactly where I fitted. But I found out by going around and I'm taking pictures of the tree service that was going on, and I learned a lot yesterday because The guys that's doing that work are great. They know what they're doing. They know how to do cutting down trees and doing what their job. I've seen like 4 big pieces of equipment. I know it's very expensive, and I know there are 4 or 5 guys working there, and they work very diligently on this big trees and stuff that needed to be cut down, and they know what they're doing. But while I was watching that, it took a lot of time on that one tree. And then I was thinking about all the trees and the service that has to be done in that park. And I said, God did a wonderful job getting all those, developing all that life and all those trees, and it takes hundreds of years to develop those trees, and it's a beautiful thing which makes the park, just like there's no forest without the trees. But I'm just saying that the way that things are coming along, I see a lot of things that are developing, that people are doing their jobs, that are doing certain things, cutting down trees. But I think there's a thing about engineers or whoever's setting the jobs up aren't following through on what they're supposed to be doing on seeing that it's covered to what we're looking for in that park. And that is the safety and the beauty of that tree trimming and the different things that are taken care of. But I would like to say on the memorandum of what you're sending me on these things, and I would like to know the administration, if they're following through on what they're supposed to do, just giving me a rundown on what they think of that they should do. But I want to come back later and talk about it, do more about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. All Right Cowboy. And as is our practice, we will respond to you in writing, okay? Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak on any issue at all? If so, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record. Okay, Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that no one else from the public is wishing to speak at this time. Do we have any ordinances or resolutions on introduction and first reading?
Madam President, we have one, Ordinance 1, an ordinance appropriating by the County of Essex for the acquisition of various capital equipment.
Thank you. Mr. Chilella, can you please explain?
Yes. In fact, I'll have Mark Acker come up and present to the board what this ordinance speaks to.
Thank you, Ralph. Good evening, Madam President. My name is Mark Acker. I'm the Director of Department of Administration and Finance. This particular ordinance is a capital ordinance, not a bond ordinance. It's a capital ordinance appropriating $1,310,000 for the acquisition of equipment by a few of our departments, and included in that $1,310,000 is $245,000 for our Public Works Department for bridge and culvert work, as well as traffic signalization work. On the equipment, we have three departments: the freeholders for $80,000, and there's a list on file with the clerk's office. Our hospital center is requesting $485,000, and our Department of Administration and Finance $500,000, which is primarily for computer equipment, which is the same for the hospital center. And again, $245,000 in funding for our Public Works Department for bridge and culvert work and traffic signalization work. The distinction between this and a bond ordinance, again, we're not borrowing. We have the money on hand, so we're just taking that money and appropriating it for these purposes.
Thank you, Mr. Acker. Mr. Polvec, any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No, this is, as Mr. Acker said, this is a capital ordinance whereby, we're authorizing him to expend funds that exist already. And that these funds, if you remember, we did a cancellation of some funded authorizations that we had to pass. They go to capital surplus, and now we're using that capital surplus for these expenditures so that we don't have to go out and borrow the money.
Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none. Do I have a motion and a second to introduce the ordinance?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Bobadilla, seconded by Freeholder Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro. Yes. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have any ordinances or resolution for listing purposes only?
Madam President, we have none.
Okay. Do we have any ordinances or resolution for second hearing or public
Madam President, we have none.
hearing? All right. Then let's move to resolution number 1. Please read.
Resolution 1, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Management and Budget Transfer of Appropriations.
Okay. Mr. Chalala?
Yes, Madam President, if I could call up Mark Acker to the microphone again to explain this transfer resolution.
Mr. Acker?
Again, thank you, Ralph. As the freeholders are probably aware, it's not until November that we are permitted by statute to begin to transfer appropriations within departmental budget line items. So before you this evening is a transfer in the amount of $1,294,500. It's coming from various accounts where we've had positive variances in the youth services, our JDOs. We have had major vacancies. Same with our hospital center as far as nursing. So utilities, our cogeneration facility, we have a positive variance there. So collectively, we're finding $1,294,500 to move to agencies where we have a need to supplement their budget. There's a lot of small salary and wage transfers, as well as other expense transfers. If you have it, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions, or if you would like, I can go through it, whatever your preference, Madam President.
Thank you. I'll defer to the freeholders for that. Mr. Palavecchio? Questions or comments?
Defer to Mr. McInerney.
Mr. McInerney?
These are just the typical after November 1st, transfers. Primarily, they're dealing with salaries and wages because that's what we have to make sure we have money in before the end of the year, and we don't want to overexpend any of that. But there's nothing in here that really stands out that isn't predictable either. There's some places where money typically comes from, the hospital center, where we usually have vacancies. So again, there's nothing here. It's only it's $1,295,000. It's not a big amount of money.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none. Do you have a mover and a second? Moved by Freeholder Jones.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Acker. Now let's move to resolutions 2 through 4, if you could read.
Resolutions 2, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Senior Services, approval of grant application award and standardized board resolution form from the New Jersey Department of Human Services Area Plan Grant, $4,813,282. Resolution 3, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Senior Services, approval of grant application award and standardized board resolution form from the New Jersey Department of Human Services statewide respite care grant, $594,515. Resolution 4, Department of Senior Citizens, Division of Senior Services, approval of Second Amendment to the 2015 Area Plan Matrix.
Mr. Chalala, can you please explain 2 through 4?
Yes, 2 and 3 are pretty much grant application and as well as an award notification on what the state calls a standardized board resolution form. This is the process that the county government must go through in order to be in receipt of these grant funds. Resolution 3, again, it's the same process. We are accepting or the grant application, as well as the award on the standardized board resolution that the state requires. And finally, on number 4, this is the 2015 area plan matrix. The county was successful in receiving just under $350,000 of additional funds for those services and clients who are on waiting lists for various home relief and nutritional programs. We do have Ms. Jackie DeVore, the director of the program, here, if the board has any additional questions on these 3 resolutions.
Ms. DeVore?
Good evening, Madam President. My name is JAKLYN DEVORE. I am the Division Director of the Division of Senior Services. And actually, the dollars from number 4 came from Sandy dollars, and we are successful in getting additional dollars for for seniors who have not repaired their home from Sandy. And oddly enough, we have been able to find many seniors here in Essex County that still had damage to their homes. So we have, we probably are going to use about $700,000 in all to help those seniors repair their homes. So it's a wonderful thing. And these dollars that we got are going directly to the provider. Most of the money is going to the provider that is going to be doing Sandy repairs. Some of it is going for home-delivered meals, and those will be shelf-stable meals, which means we give seniors meals that can go in their cabinets so that if there is an emergency and we can't deliver food, those meals are to be eaten at that time. So we order those up early so that we can pass them out before an emergency comes around.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney? No questions. Freeholders, questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Thank you so much, Mr. Walker, for coming to explain and continue doing the great work that you are doing for our seasoned citizens. Do you have a mover and a second to take 2 through 4?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Seabolt. Second by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Richardson absent. Freeholder Seabolt.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro. Yes. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Please move to resolutions number 5 through 9, and please read.
Resolution 5, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Contract Award to Perillo, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for rehabilitation of the Bridge Street, Clay Street, and Jackson Street bridges over the Passaic River counties of Essex and Hudson. A 180-day contract, amount not to exceed $981,060. Resolution 6, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Professional Services Agreement to provide construction, engineering, and support services for replacement of Berkeley Avenue Bridge over the Second River, Parsons, Brickenhoff Incorporated, amount not to exceed $269,278. Resolution 7, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Professional Services Agreement to provide construction, engineering, and inspection services for replacement of Berkeley Avenue Bridge over Second River, Bloomfield, KS Engineering, $899,195. Resolution 8, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Professional Service Agreement, Construction, Engineering, and Inspection Service for Chancellor Avenue 8 traffic signals and roadway improvements. Pannoni Associates, amount not to exceed $239,149.42. Resolution 9, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Professional Service Agreement to provide construction, engineering, and inspection services for Lyons Avenue 6 traffic signals and roadway improvements. DeBoraH Engineers, amount not to exceed $211,892.03.
Thank you. Mr. Chella, can you please explain resolutions 5 through 9?
Yes, I will briefly explain them, and after I explain it, I will then call up the vendor who will be responsible for the work for each task, if that's all right with the chair.
Absolutely.
The first resolution, number 5, the county is receiving an award, and we are also awarding this contract to Perillo for the lowest responsible bidder. and this is for the rehabilitation of the Bridge Street and Clay Street, as well as Jackson Street bridges over the Passaic River. As this board is well aware, these bridges both border Essex and Hudson. The county is actually the recipient of this grant, and we will be the lead agency on this project. We do have a representative, Perillo, if I can call him up to the microphone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Lisa Perillo. I am from Perillo in Construction, and we'll be doing the job.
Tell us about the job. What does it entail?
Well, the job is the three movable bridges from Clay Street, Bridge Street, and Jackson Street. They're going to be doing some sidewalks, some guide rail, and some steel work, the repairs to be done as well. As for dimensions, I'm not sure right now. I don't have a bid with me.
Thank you. And what's your position with the company?
I'm just secretary, meetings, the wife of the construction guy. So, yes, I am the secretary, whatever.
Okay.
Forgive me.
Put that on the business cards, the wife of the construction guy. Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions on this one specifically, no.
Mr. McInerney? Freeholders? Do you know what the work entails, or do you know anything about the type of work that your husband
The only
does?
thing I know is just that, like I said, it has to do, they're going to put sidewalk in. I believe one of the bridges, there's more sidewalk to the second bridge, and then there's the guide rail, and then the repairs, I'm not 100% sure what repairs has to be done on the bridge itself. So.
And the owner of the company, your husband?
Yes.
And he couldn't be here tonight?
No, he can be here tonight. No, sorry.
Okay.
But he did do, he was maintenance of these bridges as well on another job that he had. So he's very familiar with the Jackson and the Clay Street and the bridge.
Okay. Freeholders? No questions. Mr. McInerney?
The company needs to get better representation, contract this size, that they can explain the contract to this board in much more detail when the board has questions.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking down at the number. If I was getting a contract close to $1 million, I'd be here to make sure to explain.
My husband's sick right now, so I apologize. Somebody had to show up, so.
I hope he feels better.
Thank you. I mean, I am the one that, handles the paperwork in the office, so.
All right, next week I'd like to see him, though, to come back and talk about this project.
Sure.
All right?
It's not for another 3 weeks.
It's not for another 3 weeks? Yeah. Well, I want to see him in 3 weeks. When's our next meeting?
Sometime in
December
December.
2nd? I understand. But still, so that he can come and explain. We will take action tonight, but because the next meeting is so far out, but I'd like to see him on December 2nd to come and talk to us about this project more.
Sure. Again, I apologize. It was last minute thing, so, and I came.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Chalawa?
Resolution number 6, contract to provide for construction engineering as well as support services for the replacement of the Berkeley Avenue Bridge to Parsons Brinkerhoff. This particular contract is during the process of the construction of the bridge. If there are any field modifications that need to be made to the actual work, this contract is in place for that. And we do have a representative from Parsons Brinkerhoff. I can call them up to the mic.
Please come forward from Parsons. How are you?
Good evening. I'm Mahir
Talking to the
Shen.
microphone, please. Yeah, you can. Thank you. You have to record it.
My name is Mahir Shen. I'm the project manager for this project at WSP Parsons Brinkerhoff. The project involves a replacement of the existing Berkeley Avenue Bridge, which is a two-span bridge. We'll be replacing that, a two-span historical bridge. We'll be replacing that bridge with another two-span continuous steel girder bridge, and in the process we will be improving the horizontal and vertical geometry of the roadway. There is bridge replacement and some approach work. In addition to that, there's a trail underneath going to the park. We will be realigning that trail under the bridge for the public to use. Our services at this stage will be for the construction services, which will include the review of the shop drawings for the production of the bridge components, attending field meetings, assisting the resident engineer with questions and any issues that arise in the field.
Thank you. Mr. Palavecchio?
Just a general comment about these last two, number 5 and 6, as well as the 3 we'll be talking about in a minute. These 5 public works contracts are all being funded by federal highway funds and grant funding, which is a good thing, and it does require that the RFPs that go out, they go out by RFP, and that we select the top-rated. There's the, guess what they call the 2-envelope system, so it's the proposal in one, the price in the other, but because it's being paid for by federal funds, we are obligated to select the top-rated, which is a good thing, the top-rated vendor in each case in these 5 resolutions.
Thank you for that. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Rio Toro?
The top rated, meaning the one that comes in with the highest bid?
No. So it's 2 separate things that you're looking at. One is qualifications, technical and otherwise, and that's ranked. And then in a separate envelope is the cost proposal. So you're going on the ranking of the qualifications.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
To the administration, to Mr. Chilella, I actually want to go back. I want to ask another question regarding Resolution 5. Is this registered as a woman-owned business?
I do not know that.
Is there any way we can find that out?
We'll check in
soon,
the.
like very fast?
We'll check in the packet.
Okay. Let's move to resolution number 7 while we're looking. Going back to resolution number 5. Yes, ma'am. State your name and affiliation again for the record.
It's Lisa Perillo for Perillo Construction. You asked if it was a woman's business. No, it's not.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the administration, number 7.
This is the contract to provide for engineering and inspection services for the replacement of the Berkeley Avenue Bridge in Bloomfield to KS Engineering. We do have, this is different than the previous. This is the actual inspection services for the bridge. And I'll call the representative up from KS to the microphone now.
Hello, sir. Please come forward, state your name and affiliation.
Good evening. My name is Michael Siegfried. I'm a Vice President of KS Engineers, Director of Construction Services for New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I'm here representing the owner, Kamal Shahid. This project here is a federally funded project. It has stringent requirements to make certain that the federal government has proper documentation at the end, such as any steel that's used has to be Buy America certified steel. The certification of the workers' salaries have to be checked on a monthly basis prior to paying any costs. And we do have a 12.49% DBE goal, which we're using Richard Grubb and Associates. They're a architectural inspection firm, and also A&S consultants for material inspection, such as testing of concrete, asphalt that's delivered, and things like that. The monitoring of the job is basically our responsibility. Parsons and Brinkerhoff, if we find a site condition that may be different than what was envisioned in the contract, we would consult them to solve those problems. If the contractor had any requests for informations, we would consult Parsons to give us an answer for that, and also they review all the shop drawings. But we're the people on the ground, we're the people that monitor and make certain that the contractor performs the work according to the plans, and we provide a monthly recommendation for payment of the contractor's work until the completion of the job.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Toro?
So we mentioned the highest rated, but I see here that KS Engineers aren't. Mazer Consulting is. So is that allowable, permitted?
What page are you on? For Mr. Polavecchio, so he can find exactly what you're...
Decision memorandum?
Madam
KS
President,
number
the
one.
score is 1130 for KS Engineering, and for Mazer was 1,045, so they were the highest ranked.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Freeholders? Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you so much, sir. Mr. Chalala?
I
Back to
believe
you.
we're up to number 8, Madam President?
Yes.
This is, again, Public Works contract for the construction, engineering, and inspection services. This is for the Chancellor Avenue, the 8 traffic signals that this board had approved recently. And this is on Chancellor Avenue, and this goes to Pannoni Associates, and I'll call the representative up from Pannoni.
Madam President, I'm Curtis Sugars, Associate Vice President of Pannoni Associates. I also manage our Construction Services Division. This project, Chancellor Avenue, is, like you mentioned, is improvement of 8 traffic signals, in particular for pedestrian improvement. There will also be some sidewalk work, some ADA handicap ramps, and a variety of other things. We will be providing on-site construction inspection. We'll be seeing that the contractor performs the work according to the plans and specs, be documenting it according to the New Jersey DOT and federal requirements so that all the funding can be maintained. We'll also be preparing a monthly estimate.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
This evaluation was not just done by personnel of Essex County, right? It looks like it was conducted also by NJDOT and NJTPA. It's just so it was more of a balanced. I think we have more expertise involved in this.
I think you're right, Frank. I think this is a standardized practice that is the federal government pretty much tells you what the process should entail.
And who should be involved in the evaluation process? Or
I'll call up Dennis Sedalia from Public Works.
Dennis Sedalia, Assistant County Engineer, Department of Public Works. On federally funded projects, there are 3 agencies involved in the selection process: the NJTPA, the NJDOT, and Essex County.
and all of them outside of one item basically evaluated exactly the same in terms of ranking.
Yes, on this particular project, that's correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Freeholders? Questions or comments? Thank you. Mr. Chilella?
Number 9, this is a contract for professional services provide for construction engineering as well as inspection services. This is for the 6 traffic signals that are being redone at Lyons Avenue, and the firm is Dewberry. And if I can call Dewberry up to the microphone.
Good evening, Madam President. My name is Anthony Pecci. I'm Senior Vice President of Dewberry Engineers. I'm also Branch Manager of our Construction Services, and our main office is based in Bloomfield. This project involves intersection improvements along Lyons Avenue, ADA curb ramp construction, sidewalks, milling and resurfacing of the intersections in Irvington. And we'll have a full-time inspector on the job. I'll be a part-time project manager providing support. And the paperwork will have to be kept in accordance with county, DOT, and federal requirements. And our inspector will be out there to make sure that the work's completed in accordance with the plans and specifications.
Thank you. Mr. Paul Vecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Thank you. Okay, freeholders, do I have a mover and a second to take resolutions number 5 through 9? Or any objections on any of them? Do you have a mover and a second?
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Toro.
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siegel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson. Absent. Freeholder Luciano. Absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Let's move to resolutions number 10 through 16. Please read.
Resolution 10, 2015 budget insertion of items of revenue from the Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program for Essex County Justice Information Sharing Project, Office of the Sheriff, $135,530. Resolution 11, 2015 county budget insertion of items of revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Human Services for Area Plan Grant Division of Senior Services, $350,238. Resolution 12, 2015 county budget agreement and insertion of items of revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for 2016 Environmental Health Act, Division of Community Health Services, $323,683. Resolution 13, 2015 county budget insertion of items of revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation for the replacement of Hoover Avenue Bridge over Third River, Department of Public Works, $772,500. Resolution 14, 2015 county budget insertion of items of revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation for replacement of Center Street Bridge over Third River, Township of Nutley, Department of Public Works, $1 million. Revenue. Resolution 15, 2015 budget, 2015 county budget agreement and insertion of items of revenue from the City of Newark for housing opportunities for persons with AIDS, HOPWA, Division of Community Action, $363,000. Resolution 16, 2015 county budget insertion of items of revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, cash match from the Open Space Trust Fund for Multi-Park Improvements, Weak Quake Synthetic Turf Field, $562,131.
Thank you. Mr. Chilella?
Resolution 10 is a insertion of a grant that the county is receiving from the Department of Justice. I would like to highlight for the board that this is a new grant the county is receiving, and hopefully this award will enhance the justice information sharing solutions among the entire criminal justice community. Resolution 11, We're inserting a grant from the Department of Human Services. This is the area plan grant that Ms. DeVore had already spoken about. We are inserting those additional dollars of $350,238. Resolution 12 is a insertion of revenue, a grant from the Department of Environmental Protection. This goes for the county's Environmental Health Act program, and under this program, the county's health department administers and delegates environmental health activities in the area of air pollution, solid waste inspections, standardized county hazardous materials, as well as safe drinking water, noise, and pesticide control. Resolution 13, insertion of revenue from the state of New Jersey from the Department of Transportation. This is for the replacement of the Hoover Avenue Bridge in the amount of $772,500. Resolution 14, insertion of revenue from the state of New Jersey from the Department of Transportation. This is for the replacement of the Center Street Bridge over the Third River in the township of Nutley in the amount of $1 million. Resolution 15, insertion of revenues, a grant from the City of Newark for housing opportunities for persons with AIDS. This goes to our Division of Community Action in the amount of $363,000. It is a little bit higher than last year's award of $330,000. And this is to help provide tenant-based rental assistance, prevention, as well as supportive housing services for persons who are living with HIV/AIDS. Resolution 16, insertion of revenues from the state of New Jersey, Department of Environmental Protection. This is a cash match from the Open Space Trust Fund for multi-park improvements. Weequahic Park Synthetic Turf Field, $562,131. If the board recalls at our last Freeholder meeting, we approved this contract as well as a certification of funds. There was one certification that was not included in the packet. This is that insertion of funds, so this funded project is totally funded. It was an oversight on the part of administration that not having this insertion at last week's meeting. And that concludes it, Madam President.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments regarding resolution number 10? Mr. Polavecchio?
I do have one question. Ralph, is this this amount of money, is this for equipment or personnel?
Through Madam President, I'm not quite certain, but what we can do is provide a complete description of the grant and its intention for the board.
Thank you.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Okay. Freeholders, any questions for resolution number 11? Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney? Same question for number 12. Polavecchio, McInerney? Freeholders? 13? Freeholders? Mr. Polavecchio, Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
14?
No questions.
15? 16? Okay. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's insertion of items from revenue. The entire agenda is as well. Do I have a mover and a second to take resolutions 10 through 16? Moved by Freeholder Bobadilla, second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Richardson absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. I think tonight Freeholder Bobadilla took Freeholder Siebold's title in moving more things. Okay. All right, let's move to accommodations number 17 through 19.
Resolution 17, commendation honoring Assemblyman Thomas P. Giblin for his outstanding public service, sponsored by acclamation. Resolution number 18, commendation honoring John Rosero for obtaining the Gold Medal of Achievement Award, sponsored by Freeholder Luciano. Resolution 19, commendation honoring David Bam Bilya for obtaining the Gold Medal of Achievement Award, sponsored by Freeholder Luciano.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I would like to make a comment on commendation number 17, honoring Assemblyman Thomas P. Giblin for his outstanding public service. You know, part of our freeholder duties, we honor amazing people all the time through, you know, different resolutions. At the end of our meetings, we're constantly going through things in which we give our resolutions to people as awards. And I had wanted to do that for Assemblyman Giblin, and because of who he is, obviously it made sense to do it by acclamation, but also open that up to everyone. So whereas usually we just do it right before our freeholder meeting and we give someone a resolution, but again, because it's Assemblyman Giblin, I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to know that I was doing this, but then also participate. It's good to give people their flowers while they're here, right? All right, so do I have a mover and a second for resolution 17 through 19? I'd like to move it. Do I have a second? I beat you, Freeholder Bobadilla. Second by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Richardson absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Are there any report of board committees? Do we have any legislative reports? Any written communication? Any unfinished business? New business to discuss? Okay, at this time, I'm going to open up for public comment session. If there's any member of the public wishing to speak on any issue at all, please come forward to the microphone, state your name and affiliation, and you'll have 3 minutes monitored by the clock to my right.
Back, R.A. Cowboy, Newark, New Jersey, 66 Dayton Street. Say good evening to Madam President.
Good evening, Cowboy.
Freeholders. I have one more message that I want to relay and hope that it's heard and maybe checked on before it goes too far, because all of the beautiful setting for the kids and that playground down there is beautiful. They did a beautiful job, and everything is set up in a beautiful way. But I have one problem, and the problem is that the engineer, I spoke to the engineer down there, he's choking, there's 3 beautiful trees right inside that playground. And before they even started that job, I was telling them that maybe they should check the tree, because there's a lot of bad limbs on that tree that can very easily come down and hurt one of those children before the children get in that playground. And another thing that I can say, that the asphalt and the layout of that grounds is beautiful. But the thing about it, I don't feel that it's in a proper way, that those trees are being choked with the color and the asphalt all around the trees right up to the east. Now, he's told me that he can spray water on it and the water goes down through the ground and everything. But if you read those cans of the stuff that is used, the chemicals that's made up to put that ground down there, it isn't going to do nothing but kill those trees. And I'm saying it before it happens, and hope that somebody do something. If they didn't do nothing but cut around the circle and open up the breathe for those trees to breathe and the water to go down around those trunks. It don't have to be up against those trees the way it is. Now, these commendations, I mean, speaking to what I've been talking about and getting the recommendations from the people that's doing these jobs, they have excuses and reasons for everything that they're doing, but that don't mean that they're right. and I would like for it to be taken care of before it happens, and I know that it's something that's going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cowboy. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak? Okay, Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that there's no one else wishing to speak at this time. Ralph, let's move to Freeholder comment session. Freeholders, any comments? Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Thank you, Madam President. I actually wanted to take an opportunity to read something into the record. I thought it was appropriate. It was an email sent to my office from a constituent based on the action that we all took regarding our gun ordinance last week. And if you would allow me, Madam President, it's short, but I would just like to lead it into the record. Dear Essex County Freeholder Board, on December 14th, 2012, my wife Connie and I experienced a, quote, life on hold moment. Our grandson, Brendan Murray, was a 4th grader at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. He was present on that infamous day when an intruder entered the school and shot 26 individuals to death, most of them children. For almost an hour and a half, our lives stopped as we desperately tried to get our son on the phone and relay the news to he and his wife, Ann. Believe me when I say that those 90 minutes were the longest in our lives until we heard that Brendan was okay. It wasn't until we saw him interviewed on the news that it really sunk in what had happened, those precious little lives gone. Thank you to the Essex County Freeholder Board for proposing and getting passed your legislation to have gun vendors answer just 7 simple questions when selling to dealers, etc. The board was right. It's an issue on the state and federal level that the government must tackle, but yet these are the important issues. When we go to bed at night and when we go to church on the weekend, those 26 individuals, little kids, fresh in our minds. Oh, on December 14th, it's also my wife's birthday, a day she would rather forget. Bless you and the Essex County Freeholder Board for the action you have taken. Dennis Murray, Caldwell, New Jersey.
God bless them.
I just thought, just to the board, thank you for your support, and that was something that I was unaware of, and I just thought relevant.
God bless them. Thank you for sharing that. Freeholders, any other comments? Okay, motion to adjourn?